the sociology. So in this lecture we will try to cover some topics from unit number 1. So unit number 1 we will try to cover how do different sociologists interpret the societies and what are the data they use to interpret the society. So before moving ahead, we should keep in mind that what is sociology basically is. Sociology is a scientific study of a human social life, groups and society. Sociology show us that aspects of life we consider natural or take for granted are influenced by the social and the historical forces. Sociology is a discipline that insists on studying people within their social context. For example, if you are at home and you wanted to go outside, your main concern would be that what kind of a dress should I wear, what kind of a language should I use. These are those things which are unconsciously part of your personality, because you wanted to see that how people will perceive and will judge your personality, and all these factors basically affect you, and these are all factors have a significant influence on you. These are the factors that you can link with the society, and these factors can change your mental approach. So the study of all these factors is known as basically sociology. So there are basically two approaches used by the sociologist in the order to interpret the society. The first one is structuralism. Structuralism is an approach focused on the large scale social structure in which people play a defined role. You can say in a macro approach. Macro approach what? Focus on the large scale of the whole societies. Macro approach on a while micro approach we will discuss in next approach, which basically focus on the small scale social interaction. Structuralist approach focus on the large scale uh, and social structure institution rather than individual. Structuralists see the society as a set of structure in which individual play a definite role. In this approach, it is the social role and the action that people carry out in fulfilling these roles that are important, not the individual themselves. Sociologists use these theories to discover the social structure that may be hidden from the individual. The next approach is interpretivism. In contrast, this starts with the individual rather than the society and focus on the micro rather than the macro level. So interpretivism believe individual are in control, pulling the strings of the society. People make the society they live in and change them through their actions. We are born into particular society and learn the norms and the value of that particular society we grow up in, but we do not have to accept them, and the values themselves also change continuously over time as people ideas change. So interpretivism are interested in how individual make a sense of society and of the social actions that things that they do. So interpretivist starts their study of the society from the level of the individual. Unlike the structuralist, they are interested in how people see themselves, what make up their identity. So what does it mean identity? Identity is like how person sees themselves, how others sees them. For example, as a girl, as a students, who we think we are basically is known as identity. In all societies we are given labels, and these can be the part of our identities. We choose among the identities that are socially available to us and reject others, and these labels carry different meaning for us. For instance, someone may see themselves primarily through their religious identity or their age identity. Similarly, we may see other people in terms of label that they might accept or reject. Like for example, sex and gender identities, ethnic identities, age, social class, nationality, occupation, roles within a family such as parents. We These are some example of the identity. We have some choices about the aspects of our identity and may also decide for ourselves how important different aspects of our identities are to us. In case of national identities, some people may be very patriotic, but others may not see their nationality as important, or may identify more strongly with a religion or ethnic identity. So, interpretivists believe our identities are not imposed by the society, as structuralists would argue, but come from the interaction between our own thoughts and the actions and those of others. Our identities uh, bind us to certain social groups and to certain ways of behaving. So this the next topic is the theories on conflict and the consensus, or how different theories on conflict and the consensus create alternative sociologist sociological perspective. So there are basically three different terms we are talking about it: the perspective, consequences, and the conflict. So what does it mean, perspective? Perspective is the way of viewing the social life from the different point of view. This is known as perspective. And one major difference between the perspective in sociology is the extent to which they emphasizes either social consensus or the social conflict. Let's talk about first social consensus. There is social consensus when people generally share values and there are no major disagreement between the main group. This is only possible if either all the groups in a society have similar level of wealth, status, and the power, or if it is widely accepted that it is a right for each group to have the level of wealth, status, and power that it does. A society built on consensus will be stable and harmonious. The values that are shared may be based on the religious or maybe some kind of a belief system, or perhaps on a political ideas. There are likely to be shared practice that bring everyone together and make them feel a sense of belongingness, so they identify strongly with the society and its values or its culture. uh, the next things we have social conflict. So social conflict normally occurs when major disagreement arises about the important issues such as wealth, status, and power. In a society based on conflict, there will be significant and important difference between groups, which may become open conflicts, and there will be no overall set of shared value held by all groups. A society which is based on the conflict will be unstable, though there may be long periods where one group in power is able to suppress other that challenge it. So because interpretivist approach are more interested in individual and at small level like micro social interaction than overall nature of the society, uh, the debate about the conflict and consensus does not apply to them. However, this means that there are sometimes criticized for not taking into account and the wider issues such as power, which may influence the situation of the study. However, there are three different kind of a theories which is based on the conflict and the consensus from the sociological perspective. The first one is functionalism. The main sociological perspective based on the consensus view of society is functionalism. Functionalism is basically consensus approach or consensus theory. Functionalists emphasize social function and ask what function does this aspects of society carry out that keeps this society stable and allow it to continue. For example, the function of school is to give young people the skills they need for work, which helps the economy of the society. The next thing, the function of the families is to socialize children into the norms and the values of the society, so that next generation will live or will have these values. The next you can take into the account is the religion. Religion is also functioning that have some kind of objectives to functionalize the human being. The function of prison is to remove the temporarily from the society people who do not keep the laws and who therefore upset the smooth running of the society. Functionalists perceive human society as being like the human body. This is called organic or biological analogy because it compares society to a living organism. The different part of the human body, the brain, heart, liver, skin, and so on, all have jobs to do to keep you healthy. In the same way, each part of society is seen as having a functions that will help the society as a whole to be healthy and survive. If something goes wrong in one part of your body, it may affect other parts, and it may be a warning sign that you need to do something. So in a human society, an increase in the crime might become a problem that needs to be tackled, perhaps by getting schools to be better at teaching people to obey the law. So functionalism uh, is the was the most important perspective in the sociology for many years, especially in the early mid 20th century. The next function we have is Marxism. So Marxism is a perspective that argued that the modern industrial societies are based on the fundamental conflict between different social class. Marxism argued that there is a permanent and the continuous conflict of interest between social class that takes the form of strikes and other protest by a working class, and it can further lead to revolution. From the point of view of Marxism, there are two basically main class in the society. The first one is bourgeoisie. The name or the term is difficult to pronounce, but the meaning of that is the owner of wealth and the property, while the other term is proletariat, the working class. So the bourgeoisie has power and the wealth and exploits the oppressed, the proletariat who are wage slaves. This means that proletariat have no chance but to work if they are to survive, but they are never paid the fully value of their work. This is taken by running class as a profit, where functionalists look at parts of society and see how they keep society stable and harmonious. So Marxism look at the phenomena and see how they allow the bourgeoisie to keep their wealth and power. For example, schools ensure that some people fail and that they think there is that this is their own fault, so that they then accept the low position of the society. The mass media distracts people attention from what is really going on and make people less interested only, or try to develop their interest in the celebrities, sports, and other political issues. The last theory we have in the conflict and the consensus from the sociological perspective is feminism. The second sociological perspective that emphasize conflict is feminism. Like Marxism, feminists see a fundamental division between two groups in a society. But for the feminist point of view, this division is between two sexes, two genders, rather than two class. So feminist argues that it is a man who control the society and who have wealth and the power in all aspects of the society, in relationship, families, the world of work, education, and so on. The control of the society by the by the man is known as patriarchy. Feminist sociologists research on a gender difference. For example, they are interested in why, although girls tend to do better in school than boys, it is a still boy who, when they become a man and when they enter into the market, they will get more paid and higher jobs as compared to women. So, like Marxism, feminism is much more than the sociological perspective. It is important in other subjects, and it is a broad social and the political movement with a long history. Feminism have campaigned for equality between man and woman for many years. So they have to achieve advance in many societies, but argues that there is not yet full equality, of course. So feminism has something been seen as being anti-man, but many feminists argues that equality will bring benefits for both men and women. Although there are different types of the feminism, which I just wanted to share with all of you, just for the sake of your information. There are some categories of the feminism. The first one is liberal feminist. Now, who are the liberal feminists? They are those who believe that major advances have been made and that equality can be reached through further change, such as new law. Their views does not emphasize conflict. And the next category we have in the feminism is a radical feminist, who believes that despite these advances, societies remain fundamentally patriarchy, and men still have power. Though this may be now be less obvious, radical changes are still needed. And the last, which is socialist feminist or the Marxist or socialist feminist, it is a we can use it is interchangeably, who bring or who believe to bring together the insight of both Marxism and the feminism, focus on how class and gender work together to produce a fundamental division in the society. So these were the two topics I took from chapter number 1. So we have some topics which we will try to cover in the coming class. Hope you will enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.